Okay, so I thought what I would do is just kind of walk you guys through how to crop and desaturate your images so that they're ready for your animation project. So this is just a recap of what I talked about in class. The first thing that you want to do is open up Photoshop and you're going to open up your images. So you could always drag and drop them from the desktop into Photoshop, or you can go to File and then click Open and then select the files that you want to open. And there we have it. You'll see that up top there are the file names. You can kind of click through and see all of the images. So I'm going to go to the first one here. And the first thing I'm going to do is save it. So I'm going to save as, and I'm going to number it, the number that it is in the sequence. So in this case, it's going to be a 1. I'm going to go ahead and change it to a JPEG. You guys are welcome to keep it a PNG, but I'm going to change it to a JPEG. Just make sure you know where you're saving it and then hit save. You'll see that it'll prompt you, it'll ask you what kind of quality you want. You want maximum quality, so that's fine. You can hit OK or enter. And I'm going to go ahead and do that for all of them. So I'm going to name them first. That way I know where they come in the sequence. It just makes life a lot easier. So I've just got 3 that I'll do. Let's see. Yeah, great. Oops, except I haven't done a JPEG. Sorry about that. Okay, cool. So let me go back to number 1. So the first thing you're going to do is crop it. So this is your toolbar over here. And as we discussed, the cropping tool looks like 2 L's, basically, one inverted. So you're going to click on that. And then you'll notice up here you have the opportunity to type in numerical values to establish the ratio. So you can make yours 2 by 4, 2 by 5, 2 by 6. It's really up to you. There we have it. I'm going to go 2 by 4 or 4 by 2 in this case, and you'll see that a little window pops up. I'm going to drag the corner of it. You'll see that it maintains the proportions, and I'm just going to get really close to Zach's eyebrows. Thanks again, Zach, for letting me use you as an example. And then I can move the image down or up in the frame to kind of capture the view that I want. So I'm going to go right about there. Okay, and then when I'm satisfied with that, I just go ahead and hit return or enter, or I double click. So that's the cropped image. To zoom in, I hit Command plus, so I can get a little better view, or to make it smaller, Command minus. There we go. Okay, so now we're going to make it black and white. So I'm going to come up to Image, and then Adjustments, and then I'm going to come over to black and white. And so then you'll see that it desaturates the image. So I hit OK. And now I can leave it just the way it is, or I could kind of play around with the balance and the contrast. So maybe there's something I want to bump up in the image. Maybe I want there to be darker shadows or lighter lights. It's really kind of up to you. You can always draw darker darks in your drawing. You don't necessarily have to see them in your image. But sometimes it's really helpful to have a little bit of a better, source that you can kind of play off of. So I'm going to come up to Image again and to Adjustments, and then I'm going to come down to Levels. And I'm going to pull my white point all the way over to where I start to see it on the graph, and then my black point to where I start to see it on the graph. So now I have darker darks, I have lighter lights, I have more contrast essentially. This is your midpoint in here, and playing with that will make that considerably lighter or darker. I'm actually going to keep it at the default. I think that was fine. And once you're satisfied with that, you're going to go ahead and hit OK. So really, really fast, right? It doesn't take you any time, but you have a little bit of a better source to work with. So you're going to save it at this point, and then I'm going to do the same thing for all of these images. What you want to do, it's not a bad idea, is to kind of go back and forth between what you've cropped and maybe the next one that you're going to crop, just to sort of figure out if your registration is going to be okay. Now, it's not crucial that it be completely exact. There are things that we can do in the classroom when we trace these to correct for any kind of proportional things that happen. You at least want to make sure that it's sized the same. In terms of placement, like if I had it down here or up here, and if that was different from my first source, that's easy for us to fix when we trace it. The harder part is the size. So you just kind of want to get that size as accurate as you can. So I'm going to double click on this. I'm just going to go back to that first one and sort of see, zoom in, kind of how that is working. And I think that'll be just great. So there's a little bit of a shift, but not much. A little bit of jumping is okay. Remember, with the animation, it kind of adds a cool sort of handmade feeling to it. Too much jumping, not so cool. All right, so that's what you're going to do. You'll go through all of your images, the 12 of them that you've selected from the sequence, and you'll crop them and desaturate them and bump up the contrast a bit by using levels. All right, have fun.